Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at the Winter Madness solo by a band called Wintersun. It's finished ridiculous when it's really good, but it's freaking hard. The hardest solo I think I've done to date for this channel. So I'm going to be dividing it into three separate episodes because it's just that REDONK. Anyway, let's take a look. Guys, let's take a look at the first section. I want to do a big bend on 9 of the 3rd string. Then I want to bend it down and then pull off to the 7th fret of the same string. Okay? Then after that I'm going to get to 8 with my middle finger and vibrato it a little. And then I go after that. So what I'm doing there is I'm hitting 6 of the 3rd string twice and then just doing a slight bend. You notice that I'm just using my pointer and then turning my wrist. So all together, nice and slow. At the end of that, I've done that slight bend on the 6 of the 3rd string. What I do there is I want to tap 14 and then slightly vibrato my left hand. So you don't want to be bending the tap and doing that, that's a bit hard. So what we want to do is just do all of the work with that bending and vibrato with the left hand. So all together thus far. Okay, after that, you notice that I put my middle finger down on 7th fret and then pulled off the tap and then slid. So I go. After I've slid from 7 to 10, I pull off to 9 and then play the 10 again. So I go. Alright, let's take a look at all of section 1 a little bit slower now. Okay, let's have a look at the second section. I want to start off with a hammer-on from 10 to 14 on the 3rd string. And then after that, I'm going to go to 12 of the 4th. After that, so I'm going to be doing that hammer-on from 10 to 14 again on the 3rd string. Okay, then after that I go into this. So what I'm doing there is a hammer-on from 10 to 13 on the 1st. You can use your pointer and your ring if you want to, but I prefer the middle because I find this whole shape a little bit awkward with the ring and the pinky. They just don't cooperate for me. So what we've got thus far, and then the 10 to 13 hammer on the 1st. Then I want to play 14 of the 2nd string, and then back down to 10 of the 1st. So I go. At the end of that, I want to be playing 13, 14, and then back to 10 on the 3rd string. I'm plucking all those notes. So all together thus far. Okay, after that, I'm going to just do a semitone slide from 13 to 14 on the 2nd string. So all together thus far, a little bit slower. Okay, then we're working to this. So what I'm doing there is 12, 15, 12 on the 1st string. And then I want to go 15, 14, 12 on the 3rd. And then a slight bend on 13 of the 3rd. So there's some weird chromaticism antics going on there. So nice and slow from the most recent part. Let's join the whole section together thus far. Okay, then after that we work into this. So what I've got there is just your basic A minor suite. I'll take that a little bit slow. I'm doing a hammer-on from 12 to 15 on the 5th string, and then doing a flat ring across 14 of the 4th and 3rd string, then 13 of the 2nd, and then a hammer on from 12 to 17 on the 1st. A good old friend A minor. So what we're doing there, I'm sliding from that 17 to the 19. So I've got a hammer on from 12 to 17, and then I'm doing that slight slide in, and then what I've got here is basically like a G major arpeggio, and then it goes to some weird diminished thing there. So let's do this a little bit slower. Now, as soon as I've slid from that 17 to 19, I want to do a pull off to 15, and I'm going to do a pull off into a hammer from 19 to 16 back to 19 on the 3rd. So I go. Okay, and then after that, I want to do 15, 18 on the 1st string and just pick both of those notes. So I go. Okay, and then at the end of that, I go up to 22 and just do a slide back. So I go. And then we'll work our way into section 3, but we'll talk about that later. Let's have a look at this whole section nice and slow from the start. Okay, so we've just come out of this big 22 slide, and then I want to start on 12 of the 1st string with my middle finger. I'm going to legato this. I'm going to play 12, 13, 12, 10, all hammer-ons and pull-offs from that 1st pick. And then what I want to do is go, so what I'm doing on the 2nd string is pull off 14, 12 to 10, and I hammer back to the 13 with my ring. Okay, so I go, okay. Then what I do there is a hammer on from 10 to 12 on the 1st string, and then I sort of hammer in my ring finger and slide that in just so that I can get to this diminished arpeggio. So what I'm doing here, I slide in basically from 13 to 15. I do a pull off from 15 to 12 and then hammer back to 15. And then when I tap 18, I'm working down this diminished arpeggio. So I'm going to do the tap on 18, pull off 15, 12, then sort of legato my way down this arpeggio, then play 14 of the 2nd, and then 15, 12 on the 3rd string. So we've got at the end of that 15, 12, I forgot to mention that I'm sliding back to 9 with my pointer, so I go. Once I get to that 9, I hammer to 12 and then pull off back to the 9. So all together. Let's take it from the start now, nice and slow from the 22 slide. One more time. Okay, then I go. So I slide back from 9 to 7 and then hammer to 9. And then after that I'm going to 8 of the 2nd string. And I do a slight bend on 9 of the 2nd. So I go from the arpeggio. And I work into this. Let's slow that down. I've got a pull off from 10 to 9 on the 3rd, and then I play 10 again. And then I go. Let's slow that down. I'm doing a pull off from 10 to 9 on the 3rd. And then I'm playing 12 to 7 on the 4th. Okay, so I'm doing that pull off and then going 12, 7, and then back to 12 on the 4th. So all together from the start of this little pull offy phrase. Then I go. So what I'm doing at the end of that was 9 to 10, and then I do the pull off. So it's going 9, 10, pulling off back to 9, and then resolving that to 12. So I'll do this whole little chunk again a little slower. Then after that I work into this. Let's slow this down. I'm doing a hammer into a pull off from 9 to 10 back to 9 on the 3rd, and then I'm going to go 12, 8, 12 on the 4th, and then I go. Let's slow this down. I'm going 9, 10, 9, and then sliding from 10 to 12, and then I play 10, 12 at the end of that, and then I slide from 12 to 14. So it'll go. Alright, let's try the whole thing from the 22 slide, and then there's one more little run at the end. Okay, now what we're working through here is basically just a diatonic B flat leading, if that makes any sense to anyone. I'm starting from 13 of the 5th string, and just working down there. So I'm going 13, 15, 17 on the 5th, and then 14, 15, 17 on the 4th and the 3rd string. And then I'm playing 15, 17, 19 on the 2nd and the 1st string. Okay, and then after that, I'm going into basically an A minor arpeggio. So I slide in, and I want to do a pull off from 20 to 17 on the 1st string, then play 17 of the 2nd and the 3rd string, and then 19 of the 4th. So I go, and as soon as I get to the top of that, I sweep my way back. Okay, so after I've come back to that 20, I move my way up to 22, do a slight bend, and then just vibrato that sort of. And that's the whole section. So let's go from that little slide from 22 nice and slow. We're going to have a look at section 4 today, and then we're going to look at the next 4 sections in the next lesson. So let's take a look at this slowly. I want to do a hammer on for this arpeggio from 12 to 17 on the 5th, and then just work down a straight D minor. So let's go through that a bit slower. I've got the hammer on from 12 to 17, and then I hit 15 of the 4th string, 14 of the 3rd, then 15 of the 2nd, and then I'm playing 13 of the 1st string, and then I do a pull off from 17 to 13, and then work my way back up, sort of go. So 17 to 13 is the pull off, and I'm hitting 15 of the 2nd, and then 14 of the 3rd. So thus far, this is what we should have. So I've got the pull off, work my way up, and then I want to play 15 of the 2nd, and then 13, 17 on the 1st string again. So all together. Hopefully that's making sense. And I want to work my way into this little diminished idea. Bit dominant 7th E as well. So I want to do a pull off from 18 to 15 on the 1st string, then play 17 of the 2nd, and then 15 of the 3rd. Okay, and then at the end of that, I'm going to play 17, 15 on the 4th string. So thus far, and obviously at full pace, we're going to have to do a little bit of sweeping to get that speed up. After that, we work into this. Slightly strange modally what's going on here. Bit of Ferrigini Spanish stuff going on. Anyway, I want to be playing 14, 15 to 18 on the 4th, and then 14, 16, 18 on the 3rd. Okay, so after that, I work into this. Let's slow that down. I'm going to play 15, 14, 15 on the 2nd string, and then I want to play 13 of the 1st. I do a pretty similar idea, but this time I go to 15 of the 1st string. So I go 15, 14, 15 on the 2nd, and then I just roll that middle finger down to 15 of the 1st. So back to back, we'll do the 13 one and then the 15 one. And at the end of that I go, so I'm going to do that 15, 14, 15 idea on the 2nd string a 3rd time after that. So all together, at the end of that I do this. Whoop. Control is the key. I want to do a bend up and back on 17 of the 1st string and pull off to that 15, and then just go back to the 17 at the end. So that last little chunk all together, and that's all of the 4th section. So let's put that arpeggio together nice and slowly, and then we'll add that little shred at the end. And that's that's the first 4 sections of Winter Madness. We'll look at the next few once I get the videos together. So take care, guys. I'll catch you soon.